Welcome back, everybody. Talking sports here on ABC 3340. Huge day on this channel today. Auburn at 2:30 against Washington, Alabama tonight against Louisville. Legend, you've got a special guest for us today, and we are delighted to have him. Why don't you bring him into the show, and let's have a real good time on opening day, getting ready for college football.
This is what football's all about, ladies and gentlemen. You right now here on ABC 3340 before kickoff have an opportunity to hear the godfather of college football himself, Mr. Danny Sheridan, a personal friend of mine. Danny, welcome to the kickoff show, brother. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me on, Legend, and looking forward to the football season like you are. Probably not as excited as you are because you're a crazy Alabama fan, but that's another story.
Danny, it's an honor to have you.
You're very objective when it comes to Alabama.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. Danny, it's an honor to have you on. It's Kip Kiefer here.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you real quick, just a capsulized version. I read your comments when you were invited to make the first college football wager at the Beau Rivage in Mississippi. The first day they had sports betting in that state, they got it done in about 6 weeks. Would you mind just kind of recounting your comments in that article? And we've got a lot of eyes and ears of folks that live here in the state in Alabama. A lot of folks might not realize you're an Alabamian based in Mobile. Can you just kind of briefly repeat what you said that day about how we're missing the boat in this state?
Well, we're smart. What I basically said, summarizing it, we're smart enough. The politicians think we're smart enough to elect them, but they don't think we're smart enough to vote on a lottery, casino, or sports betting. Number one, Alabama's number one in the country, not just in football, but in illegal football betting per capita. We're the largest betting state in the country, so everybody's going to now go to Biloxi, Mississippi to bet in the surrounding areas. Casinos, half of Mobile County goes there. And I'm sure a large number of Birmingham people go to that casino in Mississippi, the Indian casino. I think that's a correct statement. Lottery, we Alabamians support the Florida lottery, Tennessee lottery, and the Georgia lottery. And they really appreciate it.
Yes,
so
they sure
hundreds
do.
of millions of dollars from Alabama are going to those three states, mostly for the lottery, next casinos, and then sports betting. So I have a real problem. We should vote those cowards out of office. How dare they, unless you live in Russia or North Korea, how dare they not let Alabamians vote on gambling? And I read where we're probably Alabama's only one of 4 or 5 states not to have a lottery. Mississippi's one of them, and Mississippi's now going to vote on a lottery. So it's pathetic. I guess the legislature thinks that we have babies here, but they come from the stores. Anyway, I don't know what they think, but I would never vote for one of them. I'm looking forward to voting against every one of them that wouldn't let Alabama vote on a lottery, casino. And we haven't got to sports betting. That's just too complicated. Sorry for the garrulous answer.
No, I appreciate it, and I appreciate your comments, having worked on that for a lot of years and running into a lot of walls, so I appreciate it. Legend, let's talk college football.
Well, let me say this. In a free society, which we are, you cannot legislate morality. You just can't do it. It doesn't matter if I'm against a lottery personally because it's a regressive tax on the poor. But when I see every state around us and hundreds of millions of dollars we're pumping into Florida, Georgia, and Tennessee, I'm for the people voting. So regardless of what you feel, not to let the people vote is a scary thing. And the religious right has a lot of Republican legislature scared, and they're a vocal minority. And if they weren't, Roy Moore would be Alabama's senator.
Hey, Danny, let's get to some football right here right quick while we got you on. Auburn and Washington today. What do you think of these two teams, and what's your projection for both of these teams in this season?
I think Auburn's going to lose at least 3 games. They could lose to Washington, but Auburn's a better team. They got the home field advantage. They should not lose to Washington. I know Washington's ranked 6th, Auburn's 10th, but Auburn has a better defense. They just got a better team overall, and I'm not so sure the quarterbacks aren't equal also. I think Auburn will lose 3 games this year because not just the Washington game, which is a tough game, but more importantly, they go to Georgia, they go to Alabama, and they go to Mississippi State. It's a brutal schedule. That's my forecast for them. You had mentioned I can't remember what else you said, Layden. You said, what's my forecast for Auburn? Washington, I think they'll win 10 or 11 games. They play a real easy Pac-10 schedule. And the only team that really would stand in their way would be maybe Stanford, maybe Southern Cal. But the bottom line is they should win 10 games, probably 11, and they should be in the college football playoffs. It's the best team that Peterson's had. And again, when you play the likes of Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Kentucky every week, hell, you ought to win 10 or 11 games.
You would think.
Well, let me ask you this right quick. I heard you this week on the great Paul Feinbaum show that you thought that Malzahn making $49 million a year would be the equivalent of Nick Saban making several billion. Did I understand that to be correct, what I heard you to say?
Well, yeah, I basically said a month ago that if Paul asked me about his $49 million guaranteed contract, and I said if Auburn's happy with being successful every 5 years, that's great. They did the right thing. He's worth $49 billion. I said Saban would be worth $4 billion. I amended that on Paul's show Tuesday after thinking about it. $4 billion is ridiculous. It should be $10 billion compared to $49 million. Let me just give you these stats. 4 years in a row, the last 4 years, Malzahn is 32-20 overall. Saban is, let's see, I'm trying to think what his record is. He's something like 52-5 overall. Okay, Malzahn, I don't know if you know this, he's 18-14 in the SEC. Now, if I told you they had a coach who was 18-14, would you give him a 7-year, $49 million contract? Saban's 29-3. So the bottom line is 4 years, Auburn's lost 4 to 6 games for the last 4 years every season. That's mediocrity. They should have a great team. They do have a great team this year, and they should do well. And if they do well, if Auburn people are very happy with winning every 5 years, they got their man. And after this year, you'll hear him say, we're in a rebuilding year. And you'll hear me say, where in the hell have you been for 6 years recruiting? How many quarterbacks has he brought up? None. How many junior college? 3 real good ones. What does that tell you? I know what it tells me. Anyway, more power to Malzahn. I think it's a great feat that he beat, and I picked him, and I loved him in the points, that he upset Georgia and Alabama. Of course, you can do that at home. When you play Georgia on the road, you got your ass beat. And I think Malzahn's road record, and you'd have to check it against any team, I think it's about 50% away from Auburn. This is not a coach that I would want to lock up for 7 years. And my over and under is probably 3.5 years, and I would be under him fulfilling his contract. Other than that, Legend, I don't really have too much to say about it.
That ain't a lot, is it, kid?
Danny, let's get to Alabama tonight. 25-point favorite. Is that inflated, or what's your expectations?
Well, it's very, very inflated. Louisville's okay. Alabama couldn't care less. But everybody's going to bet on Alabama. I wouldn't. I don't pick favorites. I pick underdogs. I don't really have a strong opinion of the game. But, yeah, it's inflated. If Alabama's, they should be, let's say, a 7-point favorite over Auburn at home. At the end of the year, they'll be, if they were playing this week, a 9-point favorite. It's because the bookmakers know that the betting public is going to bet on Alabama and all the big-name teams, Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State. They're all heavily inflated. And, again, if you were a bookmaker, why let someone lay 7 when they'll lay 9? Why let them lay 19 in Louisville or 21 when they'll lay 25? I assume that makes sense, and that's what they do.
It does.
Awesome. Hey, Danny, thanks for coming on right here on the ABC 3340 kickoff special, the godfather of college football. Thank you so much, Danny.
Have a great
season,
Danny.
It
was an honor.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Good
sir.
luck.
Thank you, sir.
We got to go to break. When we come back, more SEC football talk as we get you ready for kickoff. Kip and the Legend back after this.